What's up, YouTube? Georgia Silver Hunter back, and today we'll be doing a $100 nickel box hunt. These coins were picked up from a Fifth Third bank inside of my local Kroger. And of course, we always check these before we leave to make sure we've got good circulated Jefferson nickels and not just a whole brand new box of nickels, although today that would not be such a bad thing. 2024 Philly and Denver nickels are going for quite the premium. Now, as part of this video, we'll be trying to find hole fillers or upgrades for our Buffalo album, and we've got about 9 coins left in this 1938 to actually, I think it's about 2023. I've added the extra pages to get me that far in our Jefferson nickel album. And of course, we'll be using the Strike It Rich book along with the document in the description down below that I have created that has all the things I look for, no matter whether we're looking for nickels, dimes, quarters, pennies, or half dollars. So with that said, let's go ahead and crack into some of these rolls of nickels and see what we can find. So I'm going to go ahead and open at least one roll here on camera, just the very first roll, just to see what kind of nickels we're looking at. It looks like we do have kind of an older ender on here, but I do like to typically open at least 1 or 2 rolls early just to see if we're getting lucky and seeing what kind of nickels we might be looking at. Now that looks like a 1972, which it is. Nothing too crazy there, so let's spread these out real quick and see if we can find any old nickels. Now, in general, we are looking for anything 1959 and older. As I said in the intro, we'll be looking specifically for Buffalo nickels, V nickels, as well as war nickels, and war nickels are 1942 to 1945. Rather than having a mint mark on the front, or over here next to the Monticello building, they'll have, or the Monticello building actually, they will have a mint mark above the building, and they're made of 35% silver. But I'm stopping here because we have our first find of the hunt, a 1946, and it has no mint mark, so it is a Philadelphia, and we'll go ahead and put that up as a find, and we'll keep on just quickly going through these. I'll go back through them more slowly, checking for the various errors and cool things that you can find here in the Strike It Rich book. Like, I'll just pick one at random, like the 1953 repunch mint mark, D over inverted D. So I do like this book because it points out all the errors and provides pictures of what specifically you're looking for. So, like I said, we'll go back through these and we'll bring you in as soon as we find something interesting. So I just finished going through that first roll, and all we found was that 1946, which I brought you in for already. But I did want to stop here. The 1975D, I don't find a whole lot of them, and I just wanted to educate you guys on this because it's something I've been looking for a long time. It's the 75D high-placed mint mark, and that's what mine looks like, right? So this is the typical location. If you can find one where that D is really, really high and close to that 1975, in circulated condition, that bad boy's worth over $100. So 150 to 300 means easily over 100 on eBay. If you got it graded and it was high grade, or even at an uncirculated, you could be looking at multiple hundreds of dollars for that nickel. So if you're not paying attention for that 75D high place mint mark, you need to be. Roll number 2, and we're making money. Look at that, right there buried in the middle of my nickels. We've got ourselves a dime. 2020 Philly. So we're up a nickel on the box. I love it already. Roll number 2, our next find. We came across a 1947. I don't know what that is, about maybe 15 nickels in. We've got a 47. Looks like a Denver, and I do not necessarily see the markers for this to be a Hennig nickel. And honestly, I think that it has to be a 47 Philly to be a Hennig nickel. For those of you that don't know what that is, it's actually a fake nickel, and you can usually tell from a big die crack or a big crack going up through the top of the coin here, and there'll be a big loop there in the bottom of the R, and it could weigh off as well. Instead of being 5 grams, it'll be like 5.4 grams. I'll throw this on the scale, and if it's heavy, I'll bring you back in, but I think we've just got a 47 Denver. Well, we just unrolled roll number 5 here, and as we spread it out to go through it, something jumped out here that we like to see, and we don't honestly see it often enough. We've got ourselves, it looks like, we might be able to get a date off of that. I don't know if I'll be able to see it through the camera, though. It is a really well-worn Buffalo nickel. I am not seeing a mint mark, so it's definitely a filly. It's not going to be one of the earlier years with a raised ground. So let me see if I can, well, we'll zoom in here real quick. I can't make a date off here. I'll see if I can do it with the naked eye or with a loop, and if I can, I'll put it on the screen. Otherwise, we might have another candidate for nick a date. Still on roll 5, near the end, 6 or 7 nickels. And we came across a 1954. I've already taken a look at it because the 54D does have like a D over S and a repunched mint mark. I wanted to check that out before I brought you in, and we just have a plain old 1954 Denver. So we're getting through roll 15. We got it laid out. We're about halfway through, and we've got our next find. It is a 1948. We got a Denver. We've cracked into roll number 21, and we've come across our next find, and it's a good one. I do love finding buffalo nickels in my nickel hunts, and you can see we have a full year this time, which is fantastic. We've got ourselves a 1934, and I do not see a mint mark, so Philadelphia 1934 to go with our other buffalo nickel, and we'll be checking the albums at the end of the video to see if that is a upgrade or a book filler. We're into roll number 29, probably 10 or 12 nickels in. We've got our next find. We've got a 1957. Looks like a filly. Roll 41, we've got our next find, a 1958. Let's see if we've got a filly or a Denver here. It's actually a pretty decent looking 58. We've got ourselves a filly. So I'm bringing in here for roll 47. As you can see, we got rid of the box, and our next find here is one of the older ones of the hunt. We've got ourselves a 1940. Looks like a San Francisco. So after I put that one up on the board as a find, I remember the 40S might have something, and I checked my Strike It Rich book, and sure enough, it does have a repunched mint mark variety out there. Circulated condition, $35 to $50. And you should see some pretty strong doubling down on that San Francisco mint mark if you've got one. It says strong doubled S to the bottom of the primary S. So let's have a look at our 40S under the scope and see what we have. And that looks to me like a regular plain old San Francisco mint. And this roll's not quite done with us. Just 4 nickels from the end. We've come across another find, this time our oldest find of the hunt. We got ourselves a 1959. And we've got ourselves a Denver. So just got into roll 49 and a bunch of nickels jumped out at us. The first one was an ender, 1940 with maybe a little ring of death on it. This time we got a filly. Let's see here, what else? There were a couple that jumped out as I was spreading them out. There's a 54, which we found some 54s already, but this time we got a 54D. It's our 5th one on the hunt. And there was something else I thought I saw. There's another 54. Another Denver. And what else? Anything else? Those might have been the only ones I recall seeing. It's an 80 something, I think. Yeah, that might be it. There might be some others hiding in there, but those were the ones that jumped out the most. Well, that's going to wrap us up for our nickel hunt, and we pulled a fair amount of stuff, and I brought you in for just about every first find of the hunt. So, like, I didn't bring you in for every single 1946 or every single 1954, but I believe just about everything up here you guys did see. If you didn't, it's because it wasn't that important, but I did want to pull it and talk about it at the end. Now, we did have to use our good friend Nicodate, and I know for some of you in the coin collecting community, this stuff is poison and shouldn't be used. But I have a Buffalo nickel album to fill out, and a dateless Buffalo does me no good. So I went ahead and did some Nicodate on this guy, and we found that we've got a 1917, and it was a filly. And I'll open up the book for you guys here in a minute so you can see what we're missing, but I unfortunately did not need a 1917. Our other one was a full date, 1934. I'll double check this one. I think the 34 I have is also a full date and in better shape than this one. Of course, we got overstuffed by a dime or replaced a nickel with a dime. We got a couple of 1940s. I remember there was a San Francisco in there. I'm not going to go through all of the mint marks on these guys, but we did get 4 1946s, a 47, a 48, I think 6 1954s. We did come away with 3 1956s. We got a 57, 58, and 59. And I do need to check like this 58. It might be a book upgrade. And we'll get the other book out here in a second. I did get 2 stunners. I'm pretty sure both of these guys are going to be book upgrades, an 83 Denver, and we had a 62 Denver as well. And the book I'm talking about is up here, the Jefferson Nickel album. Like I said, I'll put you up on the rack here real quick. We'll take a look inside the books so you can see what they look like, and we'll go from there. Sorry, I also forgot to mention I did come across 3 2024 Philadelphias. Now, these were extremely low mintage years, and I still have a few rolls that I'm selling on eBay. When they first dropped, they were going for like $20 a roll because they were such low mintage. Now I think they've kind of settled in around $10, $12, $14 a roll. I could be wrong. I haven't sold one in a little while, but we did come across 3 of those in this box. Anyway, let's get on to the albums. All right, so first things first, it's been a good long while since we've looked at these albums in a video, mainly because we haven't been able to fill out much lately, but every nickel you see in here is from coin roll hunting. And since I started doing this, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 years ago now, and a lot of these came from one of the very first big nickel scores I got at a local Wells Fargo, where someone dropped off like 8 or 9 rolls of Buffalo nickels and war nickels. But as you can see, we do have a lot of holes in here. Unfortunately, I don't need the 1917. I'll double check it. It's about the same condition, so it's not something I'm in a hurry to pop out. The other problem with these folders is the more you pop coins in and out, the less they hold on to the new coin, so you don't want to be popping coins in and out unless it's really worth it. The other one we need is this 1934, and this is definitely a better quality nickel than, yep, you can see it. Definitely a better quality nickel than the one we found in this hunt. So that is our Buffalo album, and then of course the 38 to 2003 album. I'll do my best to get all this on camera. But you can see I've got my extra pages in here that get me all the way up through 2023. I need to either get new pages or a new album to get me into 2024 and beyond. And I'll flip through it kind of quickly, but we are missing the 38D. It's one I've never found. The 39D, the 39S, they've continued to elude me. I have the war nickels, but I've gotten them through purchases, and I'm trying to only fill this with coin roll hunts. The 50D, I did have a viewer send me a couple of 50Ds, but again, I'm trying to do this through coin roll hunts, and I really appreciate the gift. However, I do want to find this coin roll hunting before I fill the album, but I will hang on, of course, those 50Ds that I was gifted. Looking through the coins I found in this hunt, nothing really jumped out at me as a major thing to look at for an upgrade. And once we get into the 70s, it's all proofs that we're missing. That 71's in pretty rotten shape. I am sure I came across a better 71 in this hunt. I need to grab one in the next box. But what do we have down here for upgrades? We have a 62 Denver, which I'll try to zoom in on that. I think this coin is slightly more sheen on it, a little better definition, so we'll be popping that guy in. I had a 58. Let's check that real quick. It's down here on the bottom. I don't know how well you'll see that on the camera. It might be right in the glare. That might be an upgrade. I'll take a closer look at that 58 and we'll pop that in if it's the right thing to do. And then last but not least, we had ourselves an 83 Denver, which we'll go through a few more pages here. The 83 Denver down here. I'll try to zoom in on that for you again. I just think this one has a little bit more of a sheen to it, a nice shine to it. It's got a little bit more of a BU look to it, so I'll check the steps as well to see how that's looking. Other than that, you'll notice I do have a couple of proofs as we go through here, but most of the rest of the San Francisco proofs remain empty. But this is a fantastic album from Whitman. I got mine on Amazon. There's lots of different places you can source these from, but Amazon typically has some of the lowest prices. So anyway, with that, it gets us to the end of our hunt. I really, really appreciate you guys watching, especially those of you that made it to the end. And if you enjoyed this video, let me know. Drop on down below. Click that like button and leave me a comment while you're down there. If you're new to coin roll hunting, if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed this video, make sure you do click on that subscribe button. Then click on that little bell and select all so you get notified each and every time I release a new video. I'd really, really appreciate it. It also helps my videos get found on the homepage and in the search engine. So every little bit you guys can do to help would be great. Special shout out to all my channel members. Thank you guys for the donations each and every month. I really, really appreciate it. I do have now, from this weekend, I picked up a box of dimes and a box of pennies to go through, and one of the penny box has a wheat cent on one of the enders, so I'm excited to get into that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. I know I just came out with a $50 video as well. Hopefully you enjoyed that one. So with that, you guys take care, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.